last 15 years of actual payments that have been made for retiree health care, which is this flat part here, and then what the actuary says the county can expect to pay for that plan over the next 20, 25 years. It looks like the Rock of Gibraltar. It looks like you're going along the Mediterranean, and all of a sudden you start climbing the sheer rock.
Yes.
The payments...
in Wall Street, that's called the wall of worry. Climbing the wall of worry.
Hitting the wall of worry. You know, we were paying about $1 million a year up until about 99. Then it spiked up a little bit, and then it went to over $4 million in 3 years. It went from about 1.5 to $4 million in 3 years. It's going to be $8 million 5 years from now.
So is there such thing as a healthcare pension obligation bond? Where do they get money for this? Because the thing they're going to have to do is obviously borrow money. We don't just come up with $130 million like that.
I'll tell you what they're going to do, and Jim Anderson pretty much told us what he's going to do. They're going to cut health care benefits to the bone, if not eliminate them. And they're going to float a third pension obligation bond to take care of their statutory requirements to pay retirement checks.
So by reducing the debt load, which was the mandate that the Board of Supervisors all agreed upon 2 years ago, they're actually not going to do that. They're going to increase the debt load again.
Yes. There's no other way out.
Because this was their discussion was, we're going to reduce this debt load. This is the budget where we're going to do it. We're going to slash our debt. No more new debt.
Correct. That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
And you heard it first here on this show. The contractual obligations to retirees is a statutory one. They can't, if you were expecting was it 3% a year times as many years as you were in, if you're expecting a check for $1,500 a year plus your COLA, the county can't say, oh, we're broke, we can't pay it. They're not allowed to do that. The law does not allow them to do that. They would like to do it because they're broke. And there's no money there, so they're going to have to issue another pension obligation bond.
And since their credit rating is so low, they're going to have to pay even more for it. It's going to continue on this downward credit spiral.
I've been saying this in retirement board meetings too, and told to sit down and shut up. This was a point I made in the last retirement board meeting, that if they're thinking that a pension obligation bond, a third issue of another bond is the panacea here, is the magic bullet, think again, my brothers and sisters. We have the lowest credit rating of all the 56 counties in the state. We do not have a diversified economy here. The county is the largest employer. Marijuana is basically the underground economy. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but it can't be taxed. You're not getting any tax revenues from that. To think that we can float another pension obligation bond at all, just not on, never mind on terms that are favorable to us, but to think that we can float another $100 million bond issue at all on Wall Street in these tough economic times, where basically you have credit being frozen for the state of California and entities that are in municipalities that are much more creditworthy than ourselves. To think that we can float that bond is insane. Think again. No one is going to be interested in buying it. We're junk bond county. That's it. We're a junk bond county. We're not going to be able to raise this money. And if we do, we're going to have to pay astronomical interest that's just going to compound our problems. Raise taxpayer, yes. Yeah, I'm on a roll here. I'm on a roll. But our listeners should know this. This is the truth about money. It's the truth about your money. It's the truth about money in our county. And if I'm wrong, say so.
So what are we going to do? What needs to be done in this to wrap this up?
John?
Well, I think people need to, I think the citizens have got to get that this is a real problem. That sounds kind of mamby-pamby, but they aren't acting that way. They're not acting like this is a real problem. This is a real problem. It's a very serious problem. It's going to be $30 million a year out of the services. It's going to be sheriffs not on the road. It's going to be not very good roads for them to be on. It's going to be all that stuff that citizens want their county to do that's not going to be getting done. It's going to be, for the employees, the future employees, they're not going to get the salaries raises they want. They're not going to get the benefits for themselves. The county at some point can't simply continue to promise what it can't deliver.
They're going to furlough a bunch of county employees.
They're going to have to lay people.
I don't know, the CEO salary keeps going up.
Jim Anderson is getting a $175,000 compensation package.
How many years of experience in investment management has he?
0, not a day.
I think there's a second thing that people need to really look at, which is we need to elect county officials who are going to deal with this problem and tell us the truth. Now, I want to be very careful about what I mean by tell us the truth. I don't necessarily mean that they don't lie. Because if you notice that somebody's house is burning, and you just sit there and continue to have a conversation with them, and you don't tell them that their house is on fire, you might not have lied, but you didn't tell the truth.
Lies of omission.
And there is a duty of people who are elected by the people to tell the people what they need to know. And this county hasn't done that.
What do we talk about with Galbraith? Moral obligation.
The moral crisis behind, behind every economic crisis. Yeah. John, I, for one, and I'll go on record on the show and say so, I, for one, would like to see our new Board of Supervisors, once they're sworn in, to hire you as a consultant to do an in-depth analysis that will be concurrent with an audit of the retirement system that is presented to them at about the same time so they can see what the truth is, how bad the situation is. I hope our next Board of Supervisors does that. I'm guessing you will not overprice yourself as a consultant. You're more interested in reporting the truth, that you love this county, you've worked in this county, you love the people of this county. I hope our next Board of Supervisors works very closely with you on all that you have to report.
You know what I'd love to see is for people to read this report and tell you why you're wrong. I would just love them to say that. Just here's where you're wrong, here's where this is wrong, and just get it out there. Real simple.
And something I do say to people, I mean, this is a big report. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm not putting my head in the guillotine and say that every statement I make in there is precisely accurate.